What's going on? It's Astronaut H, and this is the What More Do You Want Network. Now, in this video, I will be discussing the recent news of the NBA's All-Star selections. And let's get right into it, man. So, everyone knows by now, this year's All-Star game will be played in Utah. Yes, the Jazz will be hosting, the city of Utah will be hosting the NBA's All-Star game. And last night, the selections came out. And I'm going to get right into my thoughts, some surprises or things that I thought was going to happen, or just the overall scope of the rosters and the starters put together. If you don't know, the fans do vote on the actual starters of the game, and the coaches get the chance to vote on the actual reserves that play in the NBA All-Star game. Now, the whole way, of course, you knew that LeBron James was going to be one of the leading vote getters. That's been the way it's been for some time now. He's one of the NBA's most popular players, not named Stephen Curry or Giannis Antetokounmpo. So you saw, of course, LeBron James being the leading vote getter in this year's voting by fans once again. Now, as far as starters go, I will start with the Eastern Conference. And the Eastern Conference All-Stars went something like this. In the front court, you had Giannis Antetokounmpo, you had Jason Tatum, and you have Jaylen Brown. Now, I do not have a problem with none of those players I just named. I do not have a single problem with any of those players I named. I think all of those guys are deserving to be all-stars. I just don't think Giannis is a center. I'm sorry. Joel Embiid should be a starter in this all-star game. He should absolutely be a starter. He should absolutely. The guy's averaging 30. But I heard something pretty interesting, and it spoke on, popularity, and these guys been to the NBA Finals, and going to the Finals gets more eyes on you, etc., etc. But Joel Embiid is averaging just a hair, just a smidget under the league's leading scorer, which is Luka Doncic. And for some reason, that didn't transition over or translate over to votes by fans. But Joel Embiid should be an absolute starter in the All-Star game. We're far removed from the days of old where we saw two guards, a small forward, power forward, center being voted in the game. Now, because of positionless basketball, you see this. And like I said, I don't have a problem with Giannis being voted in. I don't have a problem with Giannis being voted in. It's just at the center position is where I have a problem. Now, I want to congratulate Jason Tatum for being a starter. Kevin Durant for being a starter, even though he is currently injured. I don't know if he will play in the game. That is yet to be determined. But again, I like to congratulate those guys on actually being starters in this year's All-Star game. Also, in the backcourt for the East, a surprise to me. I'm not gonna lie. This is a surprise. Kyrie Irving and Donovan Mitchell. I knew Donovan Mitchell was going to be on the All-Star roster. That was no mistaken, right? That was a given. I knew he was going to be on the roster. This is his first time being a starter because he's not in the West anymore. It's tough being a guard in the West. You have a lot of guys out there. But he's actually a starter this year for the East. Going back to Utah, which will be something special for him. To flip it on the other side, Kyrie Irving, with all the controversy, with all the, things that's happening or has happened off the court with Kyrie over the course of the last, let's say 2 seasons, for fans to still vote him as an all-star starter. We know what he's capable of on the court, but for the fans to actually get behind Kyrie and vote him in as an all-star starter, that speaks volumes not only to him, but to the fans of the NBA. And by all means, I knew he was going to be on the team. I knew he was going to be on the roster, but it's just I didn't think he was going to be a starter. And when I thought about other guards in the East, of course I could have mentioned, Jalen Brunson, James Harden, guys like that. But ultimately, when you look at Kyrie, I feel like he's more deserving than both those guys to actually start in this year's game. Let's go to the West. Of course, I already let the cat out the bag. We know LeBron James was going to be a starter for sure. That was a given. Leading vote getter. You have Nikola Jokic. You have, of course, Stephen Curry. You have Luka Doncic and Zion Williamson. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't know if Zion is going to play due to injury, so that could change. But I'm going to be honest. Me as a fan, when I saw the West players be revealed, I knew Joker, LeBron, Steph was a lock. I didn't know where Zion and Luka and Ja Morant was going to fall. I said it to myself while I seen it unfold. I said, okay, Luka is dynamic. Zion is exciting to see. So the fans going to want to see them. But I said to myself, well, you only have 2 spots in the backcourt. Steph is a lock in the backcourt. LeBron and Joker is locks in the front court. So the third front court player is Zion. In my mind, I'm not going to lie, I thought Ja Morant was going to be a starter in this year's All-Star game. I thought Ja Morant was going to be a sure lock to start in this year's All-Star game. But again, it's the West. It's tough. We went from the years of Devin Booker not being an all-star. We went from the years of, Damian Lillard barely being an all-star. He's a lock this year. I feel like Luka is deserving to be an all-star. He's the league's leading scorer. I feel like Ja deserves to be an all-star. Starter? Yes, because the Memphis Grizzlies are a really good basketball team. But I swear I thought the fans were going to vote Ja Morant in. Is he snubbed as a starter? Yes. I'm going to just say yes. I feel like he's snubbed as a starter. I feel like Luka, because the NBA wants to. It's funny because the season that Joker is still having, the NBA is still trying to, bolsters Luka's MVP reign or MVP campaigns, so to speak. When I look at the landscape of guys that I want to see in the All-Star game, of course you want to see Luka Doncic. Of course. But I want to see Ja Morant more. I want to see dunks. I want to see layups. I want to see, I want to see all of that. It's going to be exciting to see Luka. Luka has he has a skill set that he can score 60 in an All-Star game. And for anybody out there complaining about All-Star scoring or lack of defense, the game doesn't matter. Let's get that right out the way right now. I do not care for defense in an All-Star game. Now, granted, I do care. But in the first 24 minutes, I don't. I expect guys to ramp it up as the game carries on. But I don't want guys playing defense in the early part of the game. No. I want to see fast breaks. I want to see threes. Like that game that was played, I remember a few years ago. This is me going back a little to the All-Star game that was played in Indiana, right? The jerseys were horrible. The guys didn't want to really be there. You seen just a lackadaisical effort. I'm not going to go back to years past before that. But you just seen guys just out there just trying to get the game over and done with. I feel like with what they have implemented over the last few years, especially with the lock scoring where a team has to hit a certain amount of points plus the number of 24. I like that. That idea is a great idea. So guys aren't just running the score up, so to speak. I feel like this year's All-Star game will be exciting. There's going to be a lot going on. One being if and when LeBron breaks the record leading up to the actual game, they will celebrate him, which will be something to see as a fan. I don't know about the weekend's festivities as far as, slam dunk 3-point contest right now. I honestly, of course, the skills competition is something that, I'm always excited for. But there are some glaring holes in the weekend. Of course, we all know the dunk contest is one of them. But I honestly feel that this year's All-Star game will be definitely one to remember. Just like last year's All-Star weekend was one to remember with the diamond season. I feel like with the rosters, with the players that will be playing in the actual game, it will be exciting. And it will be exciting for a lot of first-time All-Stars. I'm going to give that video in the next coming days before the reserves are named. So look out for that. Man, it's amazing. I want to say this in closing, right? It's amazing when you think about guys that have been All-Star MVPs, guys that actually had a chance to play in this game, guys that's actually, been on the forefront of the league for as long as they have, and they've been an All-Star this long. I'm speaking on one being LeBron James. We're talking about 20 seasons in the NBA and a 19-time All-Star. That in itself is something to behold. I'm not going to take for granted his, moment in time in the NBA. I'm not going to take for granted his moment for being one of the greatest to ever play in the NBA. This is a special time. We're talking about a guy that's on the cusp of breaking Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's scoring record. But that's another video for another time. This is about the All-Stars. Congratulations to each and every one of those guys that are actual starters. Like I said, I'm excited to see how the rest of the rosters pan out, what the coaches do. I'm definitely going to give my opinion and picks on guys that I think should be reserves on this roster. And I'll let you guys in on that video when it's posted. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Comment down below, NBA fans, or if this is just your first time tuning into this channel, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can know anytime a video is being uploaded to this channel. It's Astronaut H. This is the What More Do You Want Network, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.